Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your host, TJ Cuomo.
And tonight we are coming to you live to talk about Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 7. Obviously, this was a big one, and we are going to talk about it in just a minute. But we're going to do a real quick impromptu bring back of something that we used to do on every single show, and we did much longer shows. I want to talk a little bit about something I watched this week.
Oh, okay.
So I have never seen, besides the final film in theaters that I was taken to, not against my will, but less than willingly when I was a kid or teenager. I started the Twilight franchise first time this week. And I just want to talk about the first movie for a second. So I really think my take on it is that it's not that great. And I think that I was told by many people many different things. I was told by a lot of people that it was, including friend of the show Alex Frank, filmmaker friend of the show Alex Frank, said that is pure cinema, the first Twilight movie. I disagree, but that's okay. But what I do want to talk about is I think that story, I think it's a pretty good story, and I think there's a lot of stuff there that maybe in a different filmmaker, or honestly just at a different time with a little bit more like serious sensibilities, or just a more serious tone. I really think that story like could be something. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think you could do a Twilight reboot, and that's probably going to happen eventually. But if you did that's a franchise that I now think is like, if you said we're going to do it with a darker tone, a more serious tone, and I know the books they're more like YA, kind of, they're lighter in tone, but still, I think if you treated the material seriously and cast people who are, I don't know, a little more accurate to what the characters seem to be, because that's the thing is Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson are obviously great actors. But I just feel like they are like miscast in these roles. But yeah, the directing was very, very interesting. And the baseball scene was really something. But yeah, I'll keep checking back in. I think I'm gonna do like one a week. But
who even
have you seen them?
That IP?
It was made by Summit Entertainment, like the old company that was like a mountaintop, but they don't exist anymore. I think maybe, well, they're on Disney Plus, but honestly, that could mean anything. But yeah, maybe it was
Lionsgate.
Lionsgate. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So that would be, that's just Lionsgate. I always get Lionsgate and MGM mixed up for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
In my head, that I was going to say Amazon, but
yeah.
I have seen the first one. I think another one that long time ago, very, very long time ago. I've seen I can't even remember what year, but I have no really desire to watch them. I don't think ever, or rewatch again. But maybe I would be interested again if they did something with it. But like you said, like they have not ever, even since those movies came out, they haven't done anything with them, as far as I know, like that IP in general, and
nothing.
They made money, I think, right?
Yeah, I think well, obviously there's 5 movies. I was going to say, I think it's $1 billion franchise. Yeah, it's definitely $1 billion franchise, but it might even be close to like 2 with all of them put together.
So I'm kind of surprised that they've never tried to do anything new.
I feel like I'm obviously these are like super famous movies, but I feel like are people paying attention to like there's so many. And not to say that everything needs to be like a content farm, but like you could do a show about the Cullens, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And I know that's like a lot of, the storylines and where they went with that show, The Vampire Diaries. But I just think there's a lot of interesting stuff that you could still do with that IP.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, Shelley says it made 3.3 billion worldwide.
Right. So it's definitely lucrative. That's actually interesting. It's something I've never really thought about. Like, I am kind of surprised that they've never tried to do anything else in that world.
honestly, a lot of people are talking about how Lionsgate, like, really the only two big franchises they have is like the John Wick universe and the Hunger Games.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like they have Twilight in their like back pocket. That might be their like break glass in case of emergency. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the most recent thing I see is, from Deadline in April 2023, that there was a series in early development at Lionsgate, but I don't see
But
anything else
obviously that,
after
yeah,
that.
doesn't seem that it went anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but very interesting, and I'll see where it takes me. But yeah, definitely my definitive take is I don't think the first one is that great, but I do think that all the actors are trying their best. It's definitely, in my
Mhm.
opinion, it seems like a directorial
Yeah.
thing.
And I
And
mean, it took them, like, forever to, like, shake that off, like Robert Pattinson,
yeah,
Kristen Stewart specifically. Like, just forever for people to be like, "Well, you were in Twilight,"
yeah,
like that type of thing. Um, but yeah, I'd be, if they were to ever like kind of, redo it or revive it or something,
yeah,
I would probably maybe check it out. Again, depending on who was in it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it all come down to, honestly, maybe you go with like unknowns,
Hmm.
like complete unknowns, and it's like I know. Well, no, neither of them were really unknown at that time, but like obviously it was the biggest thing they had done at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you go with just completely unknown names to kind of hopefully avoid that, as we saw that strategy work great with Daisy Ridley. So let's go ahead and move on now to where are we? Let's go ahead and move on to the main subject here of the night, which is obviously Peacemaker season 2, episode 7. Um, this what is this episode called?
Um,
Is this
uh,
like a Keith in the Night, or was that last week's?
isn't this ignorance is Chris. Or no,
Oh
like a
yeah.
Keith in the Night. You're right.
Oh,
You're right.
this is like a Keith in the Night. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have this episode, like a Keith in the Night, obviously continuing the great puns and play on words that the titles have been. But yeah, we are gonna jump right into this one. Obviously, there are some huge reveals, but we were talking a little off mic before the show that this episode has a lot going on, but it's also kind of very contained to kind of 3 or 4 big kind of chunks. And that's what I would say the kind of Argus escape with Chris and Amelia on the peace cycle that then kind of leads to them getting captured. While we're also cutting away to Adebayo getting rescued by Judo Master, the two of them kind of bonding. Economos is still kind of held prisoner by Augie, or Earth X Augie, we should say. And then obviously both vigilantes continue their conversation from last week and realize that they have to go and save Adebayo, who they all meet back up at the Smith family compound. As the police are there, we get the return of Detective, was it Fitzgibbons? Which was great to see. What that was a really great
Yeah. Well,
little visit. Yeah,
was he in season 1, right?
yeah, he was the
Okay.
main or one of the
Right.
main two
Because when
duos.
he like
Yeah,
showed up, I was like, I know that. I was like, what the hell? Who is that? I was like, I
yeah,
know who it is. And then I was
yeah,
like, oh yeah, right, season
yeah.
1.
Which was a great reveal, and I stupidly said out loud, I was like, "Oh, where's Annie? Like, where's his
Yeah.
partner?" And then I remembered
Right.
that she's Asian,
Yeah.
so she would not
Oh
be.
yeah.
Yeah, she would not be around. Which I stupidly didn't even process that. And then this all leads to the culmination of Keith getting the realization from his father that our Chris came in, accidentally killed their Chris. And this obviously leads Keith to go on an absolute, to get very pissed after an incredible speech by Robert Patrick, who I thought was incredible in this episode, kind of the MVP of this episode, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Which then leads to a big showdown with Keith that we are going to talk about, I'm sure, in great detail. So, going anywhere in this episode, where do you kind of want to go first with some of the characters, some of the interactions? Leota and Judo Master, Augie and Economos, everything like that we have going on. What did you think of this episode to start with?
Yeah, that was a good episode. Maybe not as good as the previous, but again, I think it's probably kind of a high bar to top at this point. Just because I really did like the episode before this one so much. I thought there was a lot of laughs. I thought the beginning of like him, like when Harcourt's like, you didn't see the giant mural of Hitler like on the wall over there.
Yeah,
I thought that was all like really funny. I thought they did a good job with the twist. Like they kind of added on to it. Like, oh, hey, you thought all these people are going to be racist. Well, actually, like Augie is like, he's kind of just, he's like more liberal in this world. Like, but like, that doesn't necessarily mean like Chris is. Like Chris, it sounds like was really the bad one.
Yeah.
Like Chris might be Augie in this world, if that makes sense. So I thought all that was really, really well done. I wanted a little bit more from Adebayo and Judo Master. I felt like that was just kind of them putting them somewhere for the time being until we could kind of escape.
Like a holding pattern.
Yeah, I did like her kind of like running, like all that, like her running away and running and jumping into the pool, and Judo Master like shocking everybody in the pool. I thought that was all really.
He said zip zap, motherfuckers.
I thought that was all really good. I do wish they would have showed like something with Judo Master in this world as far as like getting chased or something.
Yeah, like a flashback.
Yeah, just like something to like show me where he was at, because they didn't really. He was just like, oh, I found this house because he's on vacation. It's like, okay. So I thought all that was really well done. And yeah, overall I thought it was a solid episode. Got me hyped for next week, and I think we will see a big confrontation between Chris and what's his name? Keith.
Yeah, I think definitely. Now I want to jump on to what's called oh my god. I want to jump kind of straight to the end here, because this is kind of the biggest part of the episode. As you said, we got Adebayo and Judo Master's kind of escape. We have then Amelia, the law, kind of catching up with Amelia and Chris. Then we have actually Blue Dragon and what is his superhero name again? Captain
I honestly
Triumph.
don't remember.
Captain Triumph. That's what it is.
Oh.
I'm going to try to pull a picture up in a second. But did you see that it was going around this week that so look at Keith's costume there? That his costume is actually just a repainted raptor suit, like the Luthor Corps Raptors from the Superman movie.
Oh, okay.
That they just reused one of those costumes and just repainted it, which I thought was very interesting. But yeah, that was really cool to see. I don't know if you want to call that frugal or cheap, but either way, it's interesting that it took us 7 weeks before anybody even pointed it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very, very cool. But then we basically get caught up here where we have Vigilante, Adebayo, and both Vigilantes, Judo Master and Adebayo, waiting outside the house. And then we kind of get the big confrontation kicked off once the police enter. We get this big fight here between Chris and Keith, where everybody starts kind of holding back on Keith as they kind of finish him, I'll say. And then we get this incredible explosion here of him watching it and then just screaming stop, kind of crawling over to him, as a kid would. And then we get this, what I will say, absolutely incredible monologue, whatever you want to say, monologue, close up, everything rolled into one, with these flashes of these huge moments in Chris's life that we have seen all up to this point, of him killing Keith, him killing Rick Flag, him killing his father, and him killing himself, which we also saw in this, and then looking at Keith's body underneath him. While you think about that, we do have a call. But we are going to kind of take this call and then just kind of do a big talk about everything that kind of went on at the end and where we think things are going to be going, because there's people out there that I've seen that maybe think that Keith is done in this show. That maybe we're going to pick that thread up even later. So I'll be interested to get your thoughts on that. But we do have a caller calling in. Caller, can you kind of flick your mic on and off so I know that you're ready? Perfect. So obviously, we're not even on screen. Whoops, my bad. We are going to bring in Shelly to the show. Shelly, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about Peacemaker? What were your thoughts on the episode?
It was really good. Like I said, like the last couple weeks have been like picked up the pace big time. Because I was a little worried how slow it was in the beginning. But if you recall, a couple weeks ago on your show, somebody called in and said, what if that world is worse than our world? I wasn't talking about Nazis when I said that, but it was definitely interesting, and especially that Augie was such a racist in the regular world, but it turned out he wasn't a Nazi in the other world, and that really bothered Chris. It's like, still like he had that, why didn't I get that father? I think he was wishing he could have dragged him back with them, But and when I knew something was up when Adebayo was walking down the street and the first car looks, and then somebody comes out of their house. I'm like, oh no. Like, what is wrong with this picture to them? One thing.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You said you just watched both back to back, right?
Yes, yes, I did. I did.
That's got to be quite an experience.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
But also I wasn't surprised after all that Judo Master did by helping her and then helping them for him to walk in across the line. And the way he kind of looked at them like, I have to do this. Like, I can't look like I'm with you kind of attitude. So it's like they know, I think, in a pinch, they might be able to trust him at some point, but they probably totally got, why he went back there. It has to look right, if nothing else. But I just thought it was really good. And I was wishing that the other one was coming up right after it, because I don't, at least it's only a day. But and the next one, I don't know if you know, is called The Full Nelson. So that sounds like somebody's getting pinned by somebody. But so I'm looking forward to it. I again, you know how I am. I hate it when things are that good and then they end. It's like so depressing. I did want to bring up one little trivia thing with the Twilight thing, which, Sean, I'm upset you're watching Twilight without me. But anyway, you guys were talking about, Sean, you said how the books are a little darker and that you wish it was a little darker. Pattinson talks about all the time how after the first 3 days of filming, his manager called him and said, look, whatever you're doing, which is being too light, too moody and too dark, he said, you're going to get fired. The director's going to fire you if you don't stop doing what you're doing. And in his mind, he was thinking that he should be darker and everything. And they told him to do the opposite. So I think he had a good take on the material, but the director made it a different thing. So,
I think that's 100%. I agree with that 100%. I hope that if they ever do revisit it, that it is treated, because I get it. It's like if he's trying to do a little bit of a darker thing, he's going to feel out of pace with the movie. So it's like I understand that that's the path they're already on.
right.
But I'd love it if there was a little bit of a darker tone or anything like that. But
he mentions it a lot. And those movies all had, I believe all of them or most of them had different directors.
So really? See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I think Breaking Dawn, the 2-part, which is really one big movie cut in half. I think that was the same director. I can't remember who it was, but I know the first one was that, what's her name? Catherine something. I can't remember. Oh, Catherine Hardwicke.
Yeah.
But then there was another one after that, that was planned that way. It wasn't like so-and-so didn't want to do it, that kind of thing. So, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. But looking forward to Peacemaker. finishing up, and it just sounds like it's going to be really exciting. So,
yeah, before we let you go, I have a quick question for you. Do you think this is because we'll know when the episode airs, so I'll ask you this now. Do you think this is the series finale or the season 2 finale? And I will ask TJ the same thing once we're done.
I was thinking of that too, especially when, our lovely friend Lex was thrown in there. It can really go either way. Well, you know what? I think maybe they could get one more season out of it before people start really showing up in films, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's the only one out of them that's going to be in some of these films, for one thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like some of them, we'll see after tomorrow, like you said, but just see how fleshed out everybody is by the end. Because if it's to that point where they feel like, okay, but it depends. Like, is there some sort of segue into the DCU? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
or like the next project.
Yeah, right. So, well, I mean, it may not be the next thing, but I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody show up in Supergirl and we don't know it or something,
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, she's pretty rough around the edges. Some of those people would work well with her. So,
yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys go do it.
All right, thank you so much for calling in. All right, well, what do you think? Do you think this is the end for this show? And I'll throw in the audible that Shelley called there. Who do you think we may see in movies going forward? Because obviously more than just Peacemaker has been in film. We've had Harcourt and Economos both in movies before.
Yeah, I think honestly you could probably do one more season before you start to ramp everything up. Something I was just thinking of, like, you think maybe they've been looking at like Marvel and been like, hey, maybe we don't want to put out like 4 shows and 4 movies a year, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to overload the audience with this content and make it, again, feel what is something that a lot of people, fans of the MCU, they may be, but they say these shows and all of these movies and all this stuff feels like homework, and I need to watch everything to understand what's going on. Exactly. So I think they want to probably try and stay away from that. I would hope so. So maybe, again, if it's not, say the next season comes out in, 2 years or whatever, we already got maybe 2 movies that year and a show. You could maybe throw in one more season of Peacemaker in there. I think you'd be okay. But I think, if this season ends and they're like, well, we want to do another one, but we don't know when, I would almost try and stay away from like doing it like too far in the future, because at that point, I feel like you might be like, depending on how many projects you have going on at the same time, you know what I mean? But again, if the show ended here too, I'd be fine with that.
I also feel like, and it's been my complaint the whole season, of a season I've really liked, looking back on how how everything was set up and where we got to and stuff. I'd really like to see James Gunn put the focus on writing Peacemaker, and honestly, it's like, I wouldn't normally say that, other than I watch that podcast every week, and he has said several times that he was writing key scenes on their Christmas vacation in Maui. And it's like, granted, I understand that he's like talked about, he's in another room, he's in his writing mode and stuff. But I just think when you write, like, of course, because he puts everything out there. Like, the number that he said is he wrote 600 script pages between Creature Commandos, this, and Superman. He's like, I wrote 600 pages in 6 months for all 3 projects. And it's like, you can feel it. You could feel that it's like there was only so much bandwidth, you know what I mean? And so in the future, if we did get another season, I would like to see him really put a firm focus on making it as tight and as built up and as built out as the first season felt, because whether you want to, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. I think this kind of goes back to people's like kind of criticism of him taking over the studio. Was like, you like to make movies, you like to make shows, all that stuff, write, direct, why weigh yourself down with, and again, the argument could be made that it's Peter Safran doing all the day-to-day operation stuff like that, but why put yourself in the position to like, be like the co-head of running the studio and then also doing, directing, writing, etc. Like, why wouldn't you just want to separate yourself? You could still have like your creative kind of control, I guess, a little bit, but maybe not in title, I guess. It just seems like you said, like there's definitely times in this season where it's like you can feel it's just like, okay, it's just a lot. And somewhat
feels like a first pass.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you 100%. I know we've been touching on it all season with the like, I'll ask you this too. What because this has been the TJ segment all season. What is your moment that went on too long in this?
I was thinking about it, and I think it's Bordeaux and Frank Grillo.
Oh yeah,
which we didn't really talk about.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
So when I said the other day, I was like, oh, we called that, because I remember last week in the teaser, I was like, oh, there's some other guy that's going to show up, and I was like, oh, maybe it's one of his henchmen or whatever, and sure enough, it was.
Bang on the point.
I thought that just went on like long. I was like, and again, it's kind of like my criticism was with Adebayo and Judo Master. It's like we're just putting them somewhere so we can just kind of, this kind of felt the same way, where it's like we're just kind of here. We're trying to find the portal thing. We don't really care. Like, maybe we can we, like, in my head, I'm like, can we just can it just pop up on their screen when they inevitably go back through the door? Like, do we really need like this whole thing? And I don't even remember what the reason was. Do you remember like why they had to go to him?
It was that well, no, I'll say this. In the show, no reason given other than Lex said this is who to go to.
Right.
But there was no reason given of why it had to be the ship from Superman and stuff like that. Like I would have loved a little line from Lex or something that's like, well, the satellite you're looking for is hardwired in the one place, and guess what? You have it in your Argus facility or so, you know what I mean? Like some line like that. That's like, well, there's only one computer station and there's only one man who can do it. So or to have him just kind of shuffle in was a little like, to kind of catch up to the moment for a second. And it's like in a show that's been so kind of moving certain characters along.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see, instead of just a joke going longer, a little bit of a firmer setup to what some of these characters are doing, particularly when you're talking about like the penultimate episode of a season. Like really compare. And I really liked this episode. I mean, the final scene is just probably one of the best scenes of the whole show. Definitely one of the best scenes of the whole show. But there is nothing like the Bordeaux flag scene in the season 1 penultimate episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no weak point like that. I mean, I think back to that penultimate episode. It's all about Chris and his dad. It's all about building up, Economos having a great part to play, where he's trapped in the car with Eagly getting caught in the middle of everything. And then obviously the choice that Chris makes at the end, which is mirrored in this episode, obviously. And I do think this episode had some really, really strong stuff. But like you said, I think when you're looking at a penultimate episode, the fact that, and I agree with you, the fact that we both think that last week's was even stronger than this.
Yeah.
It just leads to a little bit of a feeling of unevenness. But that being said, I still really love the show and love all of the emotion and depth and just where we're going with all these people.
Yeah, something I really thought, and this kind of came back to my, like, I guess a lot of predictions was like, maybe he'll have to kill his dad and his brother again. He didn't have to kill them, but he also inadvertently killed them because he came back, Yeah. And that was something I was thinking about too. I was like, man, like the guilt he must feel, where it's like, I was so happy here. And, coming to find out, obviously his dad in this universe isn't a terrible person.
Yeah.
And in fact, he himself in this universe was the awful person. But that he kind of had this, and then he's like, well, if I just would have never come here, they'd still be alive. And now I feel like I've killed my family twice.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and that kind of like utteral like that scream that John Cena lets out, I thought was really, really good. And
Man, he's looking better than ever in this scene too, by the way.
yeah.
I was like when this shot hit, man, his hair, I was like we kind of talked about this last week, that he's just aging, but like aging so well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was like, that's a movie star. Like when he is like
Yeah.
crying into the lens and you're looking right up at him, like there's nowhere for him. There's nowhere for him to hide in the frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is the frame, and he holds it so masterfully for a guy who really, other than like Marine and like a few other like WWE movies that he was in, who really genuinely started acting just in the last 10 years. And I only say that as, you know, because he's, you know, almost 50, but
Right.
he's only really been acting since, you know, the last 10 years. Just phenomenal. I mean, he's just so good. And then also, person we've talked about all season, I thought David Denman was incredible in this episode as well. I thought just so much to do, so much interesting stuff of like you were saying with Chris being the worst one, Augie kind of being the best one, and then Chris, this Keith kind of seems a little caught in the middle. You know what I mean? Where it's like he clearly loved his brother and overlooked those things about Chris. And you get that moment where he looks at Augie and he's like, I don't know, Dad. Doesn't sound like you did love him.
Yeah.
Like he's like just now realizing that like his dad maybe couldn't overlook some of those bad qualities in Chris. Which I'll be excited to rewatch the show because that kind of adds a new layer to that scene of all of them sitting together in the first episode or the second episode. That kind of adds a new layer where this Augie thinking it's his Chris really is being overly jovial and stuff because he's like, oh, my son's having like a good day.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna cherish this. And it's probably gonna make that scene hit even harder. But yeah, what did you think about the actual moment when Vigilante jumps in through the window?
Yeah, I thought that was insane. I mean, you see him like running, like, and then just like I thought
he just goes for it, man.
So I mean, we just saw Smashing Machine. I thought the sound design was really good, but for some reason so that was obviously just a big shout out right there. But I can hear like the stabbing in my head from this episode for some reason, and it was pretty brutal to see.
100%.
Something that just like and it's just kind of playing into this. So like we saw the mural, right, of like the three of them, and you know when they're driving down the road a few episodes ago. So I'm kind of in my head, I'm like, how is this playing out in this world? Like what role did Augie have? Because I know we like to say that he was kind of the good guy, but I feel like he was also kind of just like I don't want to say a bystander, like he was like he could have saved the world from this, because I don't like, obviously it would take more than one person, but I don't want, but I also don't want to say he was like complicit, because obviously we don't really see what happened. But there again, we saw this mural of like these three people, you know?
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're just supposed to take it as, and I'm just saying these thoughts as they're coming into my head for the first time because I hadn't really thought of that. I wonder if they're just trying to make a statement on like iconography of like how important propaganda and iconography would be to this society. That maybe instead of making a children's cartoon about their superheroes, a town like Evergreen, who it's like the top trio is our superhero team, like they paint murals, and they literally like we saw the kid like crying, you know, because it's Peacemaker. You know what I mean? Like Peacemaker, I love you. Like maybe it's just that where it's like they are so like deified in the eyes of the people, as inspired by you know who, It probably wasn't a great look, but I didn't want to say the name because I don't know what YouTube does these days.
Oh yeah.
But inspired by inspired by Hitler. I think that would be an interesting thing, but again, that's not like in the episode. That's just like what I'm assuming that they're going for, based on that.
I think too, I'm also thinking of it in the context of like they're known around the world, where it might just be this town. So I think that's also where I'm kind of getting, because where we come from, it's like the dimension that we know. It's like, well, Peacemaker, I feel like he might be known like farther out than where they currently are, like Argus and everybody. And I guess Argus and the other dimension does, but I almost, just because they're kind of in this one town, maybe in my head, I'm kind of like, well, maybe they're not really like these worldwide heroes. Like we're just kind of, we're kind of just in this framework right here.
We represent the Pacific Northwest.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I thought it gave you a lot of like cool things and different ideas, ways of thinking about things. And just like, again, like I thought that was a really nice kind of twist just to add on as well. That it's like, hey, he's not, it's kind of like just completely reversed, where it goes like Chris is the worst one. And then it's, in the middle, honestly, and then his dad is, So I thought that was all really cool. But like I saw some theories online that people thought maybe the vigilante that went through the door was the wrong one, but I guess that was debunked by James Gunn himself. And so I'm really, I think I'm interested to see what happens in the next episode, because it looks like we're really just like kind of jumping through dimensions. And
oh really?
Is it? Oh, you didn't see the teaser. My bad.
I don't care. Yeah, as long as I don't see like the visuals, like that's what I hate, is like a visual that's like, well, I wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, there was I will say there was no like mention, or not mention, but they didn't show Keith or anything in this teaser. So maybe that is a thing, or he just doesn't.
Well, let's lead into this now. Let's wrap up here by talking about where we think we're gonna go next. I mean, I know you saw the teaser. But do you think this finale is going to be Rick Flag portal, or like figuring out what this, big thing that he's been after this whole time? Is that what we think is going to be happening, or do we think that we will see the return of Earth X immediately in this next episode? And if we do, whichever way, where do you think we're going from here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm hesitant. I'm starting to buy into the whole like Keith is just kind of he'll be followed up with at a different time.
Yeah.
Can you remind me like what as Rick Flag? What are we looking for exactly?
I don't know. We just know him. He's made several references to the betterment of humanity. We need this for a particular reason. We need this to help us all, he said. So it's like there's just some sort of thing that doesn't seem to be Luthor related, because otherwise it would have come up. Some sort of reason that Rick Flag himself seems to think that Argus needs this. I don't know.
Right.
I'll be interested to know, because I really do think that a good amount of this season will hinge on wherever we're going with this.
Yeah, we're one just quick note. There's no Aaron Eckhart. Were you kind of expecting him to show up in this at all, or like this episode?
Aaron Eckhart?
Yeah.
What would he show up as?
Oh my god, sorry. Good.
Oh,
getting the names mixed
I was
up.
like, Two-Face.
I'm talking about Rick Flag Jr.
Oh yeah. Joel Kinnaman. You
I get that mixed up
so
sometimes.
hard, because I was like, Rick Flag. I have a friend over. We're watching Dark Knight Rises tomorrow, so I was like,
yeah,
Two-Face. I was like, did they like hint at that?
No,
that would be crazy though. Aaron Eckhart though, that would be a great DC Two-Face.
Go Kevin.
You're asking, do we see him next week?
No, I'm saying in this previous episode where.
Oh no, we have not seen him except for the one. I thought he would be in it. I thought we would get him in both of these finales, or both these last two episodes. But I mean, he's got to come back for the finale. But then again, maybe we're done with Earth X.
He's in the other. verse.
Yeah, that'll really throw me. That'll really throw me if he just never comes back and all that we had was the like office antics. That'll really throw me for a loop. I don't know, but I think I am loving this show, but I think there is a lot left on the table that I really think that we could have done a lot with, and we don't know. Maybe the plan is to do something big with Earth X. You know, maybe years later, a Justice League movie will go to Earth X.
Yeah.
But we as an audience will have already been there all the way back in Peacemaker season 2. But maybe it's like, well, by the time of Justice League 2, Earth X is ready to invade our reality, you know, something like that. And then that's when Keith will come back and he'll be a big villain or something like that. But I definitely hope that we see Rick Flag Jr. in the finale in some capacity, because that'll just really throw me if he was only in there for a few minutes. But yeah, at this point, I do think that it is just going to be focused on Rick Flag Jr. and the portal. And I kind of feel like that's where we need to get answers right now, because I don't really understand yet. And again, that's a sign of the episode that, you know, we didn't have after the penultimate episode of season 1, we went, okay, Augie dealt with, let's go deal with the butterflies. That, like, it was part A, part B. We knew exactly what we were doing. Here, we still don't really know what's going on. So I think it'll be very interesting to see where this goes and how it kind of wraps up.
One other question. Do you think now, after what we've seen in the previous 2 episodes, do you think like Harcourt and Chris are just like together now? Or do you think we still got some stuff to work on?
Well, it's interesting because I would say I think so, but she had that moment of she was going to end Keith. And is that after he screamed and begged them to stop? And I understand that it was out of mercy. And I would even go as far as to say it looked to me like David Denman's performance was him accepting it. But then out of both of their controls, the police come in and she is pulled through the door, doesn't get to do the shot. And now I feel like Keith, who had accepted his fate, we see him in the ambulance, you know, kind of coming to, and kind of getting his kind of wits back, it seems like. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see if that comes up and if Chris judges her for that. Or if he will be understanding or anything like that. So I think it'll be interesting. I think it definitely depends on that. But the more important thing is whether they're together or not, they're physically split up, because we end this episode with Chris being taken into custody.
Oh, right.
So that's another interesting thing. I don't know. And are we going to see maybe there's like a time jump even? You know, maybe it's like, you know, we're going to see all these realities. Maybe there's a time jump where Argus is like testing the door or something. And the whole time they're testing the door, maybe they're keeping Chris in holding, you know, tell us how this works. How do we get into it? You know, this kind of stuff. So I'll be interested to see, but I definitely think either way, whether Chris, because again, that's an interesting flip now, is now Harcourt is 100% ready to be with Chris, but now maybe Chris isn't ready to be with Harcourt. So again, I think that's where I think he keeps kind of saying that it's just going to be 2 seasons, but I really think there's a ton of stuff on the table here for a 3rd season. Like I want to see so much more out of these characters and their relationships with each other. And like I said, I think the big banner for me for season 2 is a lot left on the table that I hope we go back to. I really do.
I mean, what do we have like right now as terms of projects? We have Lanterns, Clayface, and Superman 2, I guess.
Lanterns, Clayface, Superman 2, Batman 2.
Well,
you mean
universe.
DCU. Yeah. Lanterns, Clayface, Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl, right. Forgot about that.
And what was the other one you said? And Superman 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So we have a show on the way and 2 movies on the way. Or 3 movies on the way. Yeah, because of Clayface. Yeah, that's what's on the deck right now. And I will say this: if you're watching through to the end of this video, and I see we have 9 people watching us right now, thank you guys so much for joining us live. We appreciate it as always. But a little tidbit for you guys that we talked about a long time ago before this show started. We are going to do a little DCU draft. Not next week, but the week after Peacemaker ends. We're going to do a whole segment on kind of drafting our picks for DCU projects. And we're going to go backwards to the Suicide Squad is going to be our starting point and kind of break it down and say, what we thought. And it'll be interesting because we're going to break Peacemaker down into 2 options. So season 1 and season 2. So join us for that. Again, not next week, but the following week. And then once Peacemaker is done, we will be covering Gen V full time in the final episodes of that show. So we got a lot coming up, but I kind of transitioned out of Peacemaker. Do you have anything left that you want to talk about with Peacemaker that we haven't gotten to?
Yeah, one last thing I just want to say. Do you have like, if you could give one like bold prediction or anything for this final
I think bold
episode?
prediction, I think you could see Peacemaker die.
Wow.
I think you could see, I don't know.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could. I think it's possible. I really do think it's possible.
Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't happen. And I really hope that, I'll throw it back to you. Do you think that we get any major death in the 11th Street Kids? Vigilante.
Economy. Yeah, see, that was one of my thoughts, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really tough. I think that'd be really tough to do because, like you've said multiple times, I think there's a lot of meat left on the bone to explore with these characters. Yeah, we're so early in this DC universe that I don't think you would want to do anything like that already. I'm thinking, can we get like a little Superman cameo? I mean, I know we kind of got the little scene to kind of retcon the end of season 1 or whatever. Yeah. But
speaking of, do we get Guy Gardner back to set up lanterns?
Guy Gardner? Could we get like
Mr. Terrific?
Could Idris Elba make an appearance? Maybe we get Bloodsport back.
I mean, that would be like my dream to set up. I know earlier in the season, we had talked about that we were like, maybe you bring in Bloodsport and set him up for a season 3, but maybe that is what you do. Maybe you have Bloodsport is the villain on our Earth, and then we have Keith coming back from Earth X to kind of finish the job. That would be super, super interesting.
Here's a big prediction it's a prediction, but honestly, it's probably like 0.01%. I think this episode, Keith comes back, and then he just stays. He doesn't go back because he doesn't have anything left there.
What's so funny is while you were just talking, I was picturing that exact thing. Yeah. I was picturing David Denman in our reality but I was thinking for season 3, but what a great setup for season 3 is we're in some location. Maybe it's like the 11th Street Kids, they won the day and they're out to a drink at the bar, and then they all leave the bar, and then you pan and at a booth in the back, you see Keith healed up and back. And then that's the end of it. That would be an ending. That would be crazy. To not be like, oh, he's going to come in the big super suit, but like he's there to like watch them and like figure it out and like strike when he like to just be a threat out there. That would be super cool.
Oh, I honestly didn't. I mean, I could see that. I honestly didn't even mean like this would be really hard to solve in one episode, but that is very, because I think you could do it at some point where he just stays in that universe and is like part of the gang almost, because this is undoubtedly the better Chris, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So, and I mean, again, he is racist, so maybe that maybe that wouldn't quite work out how I would want it to, but
that's the thing though is I think, and this is a deeper conversation that we're going to have here tonight, but is he a racist? Or if you were standing outside your house and you saw a prisoner running down your street in an orange jumpsuit, what would you do?
If I saw a
you call
prisoner
someone?
running down I would honestly, I would probably walk back in the house.
But would you call anybody?
I get,
But you
yeah,
get what
but
I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
that's also making it sound like they're inherently bad people. You know what I mean?
Well, yes, I understand that, but I think what the show is trying to difficultly say is that in their world, they are. They just
Right. No,
are. Like from their perspective. Because
Yeah.
again, another thing we said that this was going to be a short show. I mean, it is going to be a short show, but I thought it was going to be really short. But there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about in here. Is what I thought was so interesting was when Robert Patrick says, I didn't tell you this, but years ago I saw my doppelganger in there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there was something wrong about him. He was dark, almost twisted.
Yeah.
And it's like, because to that Augie, that is the evil reality.
Right,
And again, that shows it's always about the flip, you know?
Right.
There's always a wrong to your right. There's always
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost him. Oh. Lost for a second.
Oh, are we here?
You're good now. You're
all
good.
right. I just was saying, I think that's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
That it's all about the kind of flip,
Yeah.
like you've been saying, that it's like the Augie is the reverse of
Yeah.
our Chris in both universes.
I think if he were to go and stay in this new, like in our universe, I think it would take some like just like assimilating and because I don't think you move to a different universe and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is how it is here, so I'm just gonna do this, you know, and act this way. I think it would take some time to like kind of change the mindset and all that stuff. But yeah, all really kind of good ideas, and you know, who knows where it could go. Again, this could be the end. They could just be like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, honestly, and that's something that like I could see them doing, but I really hope that if it is the end, that they land it well.
Right.
Because it's like it feels like it could go either way. And I really hope that they just land it well. But that will do it for us tonight. Talking about Peacemaker season 2, episode 7, right? Yeah, episode 7. Like a Keith in the Night. Excellent performance by David Denman. Excellent Robert Patrick, John Cena. Those three amazing in this episode. Jennifer Holland, great as always. Not as much to do this episode, but I think that's okay. She's had so much to do throughout the whole season. Obviously in that incredible scene with them last week with the big kind of expressing of emotions to each other was great. But guys, let us know, what did you think of season 2, episode 7? We really appreciate everybody that joined us live. We got up to about 11 viewers at the same time. Always love to see that, and always love everybody that listens on the audio feed that TJ takes care of for us, and on the replay and everything like that. We've been really consistently getting like high 70s on these reviews, and everybody knows, you know, we took a break for a long time, so we love to see that kind of return in the audience, however, you know, size it might be. And I know a lot of people are talking about that YouTube in general has been seeing a lot of views go down on channels and stuff. So we appreciate everybody that chooses to watch us live or on the repeat or on the audio. But that will do it for me. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I've been another host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you next time.